Breaking alert! Walrus Submarine Netherlands is still slipping beneath the waves for North Atlantic missions, even as its replacement is not expected to arrive until 2033. A submarine that first entered service in the early 1990s is now carrying one of the most sensitive underwater responsibilities in NATO. If that narrow transition fails, the Netherlands could face a period with far less undersea flexibility. So, why are defense planners still relying on this aging hunter instead of a newer fleet? The answer begins with a remarkable fact. In September 2024, the Royal Netherlands Navy confirmed that Dolphin completed an operational deployment lasting nearly 1 month in the Norwegian Sea and the northern North Sea, where it monitored naval activity outside NATO territorial waters. That mission demonstrated that the Walrus class remains operationally relevant despite its age. The Walrus class entered service between 1990 and 1994. Leo entered service in 1990, followed by Walrus in 1992, Dolphin in 1993, and Bruinvis in 1994. In October 2023, the submarine Walrus itself was officially retired after more than 3 decades of service, leaving 3 boats in the active fleet. On paper, these submarines still offer impressive capabilities. Each vessel measures about 68 meters in length with a submerged displacement of around 2,800 metric tons. Powered by diesel-electric propulsion, they can reach about 20 knots underwater, dive beyond 300 meters, and carry as many as 20 Mark 48 heavyweight torpedoes through 4 torpedo tubes. Their combination of long endurance and quiet underwater performance allows them to operate far beyond Dutch coastal waters. That strategic reach explains why the Netherlands continues investing in keeping the class operational. Walrus submarines support intelligence collection, maritime surveillance and special operations, while strengthening NATO awareness across the North Atlantic and the Norwegian Sea. Leading global defense analysts argue that even a small fleet of quiet conventional submarines can force any potential rival to devote significant resources to detection and tracking. But every additional year also means greater pressure on aging systems, maintenance crews, and limited spare parts. The submarine can still perform its mission. The bigger question is whether the fleet can. Before we go on, what do you think is the greatest challenge for the Walrus fleet before 2033? Subscribe for more in-depth defense analysis. And tell me where you are watching from. The central danger is no longer the quality of a single submarine. It is the shrinking number of boats available for training, maintenance, and deployment. The Royal Netherlands Navy originally operated 4 submarines in this class. Walrus left service in October 2023 after 31 operational years. Leo, Dolphin, and Bruinvis remained, but the transition plan is expected to concentrate resources on only 2 boats as the fleet approaches the arrival of the Orca class. This reduction changes the mathematics of readiness. A 4-boat fleet can normally distribute its workload across 4 stages. 1 submarine can deploy. A second can prepare for operations. A third can recover and train after returning. The 4th can undergo scheduled maintenance. With only 2 boats, 1 extended maintenance period can leave the Netherlands with a single operational submarine for both training and operational commitments. The spare parts strategy reflects that pressure. Retired submarines can provide components for the remaining boats, helping technicians replace equipment that is no longer produced. However, this method cannot solve every problem. Batteries, pressure hull structures, electrical cables, valves, hydraulic systems, and diesel generators all face age-related limits. A component removed from another 30-year-old submarine may also have limited remaining service life. Propulsion creates another operational constraint. These submarines use diesel-electric machinery and do not have air-independent propulsion. While submerged, they rely on batteries and can remain extremely quiet. But the batteries must eventually be recharged by diesel engines using a snorkel near the surface. During that period, acoustic, radar, and electro-optical signatures become easier to detect. This operational limitation matters more today than it did in the 1990s. Modern maritime patrol aircraft combine radar, infrared sensors, and sonar buoys. Long-endurance unmanned aircraft can monitor large sea areas for extended periods. Uncrewed underwater systems can also support persistent surveillance near strategic maritime routes. The Modernization program improved combat relevance through digital navigation, satellite communications, a modern combat management system, an optronic mast, mine avoidance sonar, and the Mark 48 Mod 7 torpedo. Yet new electronics cannot remove metal fatigue or restore lost fleet depth. The Netherlands is therefore not simply extending the service life of aging submarines. It is preserving an entire national undersea capability, while every maintenance delay carries greater strategic weight. The pressure on the existing fleet explains why the replacement program has become one of the most important defense projects in modern Dutch history. The challenge is not simply building a better submarine. The challenge is delivering it before the remaining capability becomes too limited. The replacement process has already taken several years. In July 2023, the Netherlands confirmed that 3 proposals had been received from Naval Group, Saab Kockums working with Damen, and ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems. After a lengthy evaluation, the Dutch government selected Naval Group in March 2024. A legal challenge followed, but in July 2024, a Dutch court rejected the objection, allowing the program to continue. On September 30, 2024, the contract for 4 new Orca-class submarines was officially signed. Even after the contract, the timeline remains demanding. The program entered its engineering phase during 2026. Steel cutting is planned for 2027, while the first submarine is currently expected to enter service in the year 2033. The remaining 3 boats are planned to follow over the following years, creating a gradual rather than immediate transition. The new class represents far more than a simple replacement. The future submarines are designed for extended range operations with improved sensors, modern combat systems, and greater endurance. In June 2026, the Netherlands confirmed the selection of the French F-21 heavyweight torpedo for the new fleet. The F-21 uses electric propulsion and wire guidance, while providing advanced capabilities against both surface ships and submarines. At the same time, the Dutch government confirmed that work continues on integrating a future long-range strike capability through international cooperation, although no official operational introduction date has been announced. However, the year 2033 should not be viewed as the end of the transition. Delivery is only the first milestone. Every new submarine must complete sea trials, certification, crew training, combat system validation, and operational evaluation before reaching full combat readiness. During that period, the Royal Netherlands Navy may need to operate both generations simultaneously, while experienced crews begin moving from the older boats to the new fleet. That creates an unusual strategic situation. The existing submarines must remain reliable long enough to train the sailors who will eventually replace them. In other words, the success of the future fleet still depends on the survival of the current one. Everything now depends on whether the Royal Netherlands Navy can preserve enough operational capability until the first new submarine arrives. The greatest risk is not that the remaining boats suddenly become ineffective. The greater concern is maintaining a balanced force while every year places additional pressure on maintenance schedules, experienced crews, and technical support. Current planning still indicates that the first Orca-class submarine is expected to enter service in the year 2033. The remaining submarines are planned to follow over the following years. Until then, the Netherlands must continue operating submarines that first entered service during the early 1990s. At the same time, the Navy must prepare new crews, modernize shore facilities at Den Helder, and introduce completely new combat systems, sensors, and the F-21 heavyweight torpedo. Managing all of these transitions simultaneously is as challenging as building the submarines themselves. The strategic consequences extend well beyond the Netherlands. Dutch submarines contribute to intelligence collection, maritime surveillance, and anti-submarine operations across the North Atlantic and the Norwegian Sea. A reduction in available Dutch submarines would require other NATO members to assume a greater share of those missions. That could increase operational demands on Allied fleets already supporting multiple regions at the same time. Looking ahead over the next 12 months, the most likely scenario is continued engineering work, industrial cooperation, and infrastructure preparation, rather than dramatic changes at sea. Steel cutting for the first Orca-class submarine remains planned for 2027, while further integration work continues for future weapons and combat systems. Leading global defense analysts argue that maintaining schedule discipline will be just as important as technical innovation, because every delay extends the operational burden placed on the aging fleet. Perhaps the most important lesson is that military strength is not measured only by advanced technology. It is also measured by the ability to preserve skilled personnel, sustain complex equipment, and manage a successful transition from one generation to the next. The Netherlands is attempting to protect all three at the same time. The remaining submarines are approaching the later stage of their service lives, but they still carry one final mission. They must keep an entire undersea force alive until their successor is fully ready to take over. So here is the bigger strategic question. In modern naval warfare, is maintaining continuous operational experience more valuable than introducing new technology as quickly as possible? Share your thoughts in the comments.